Welcome to Run, Jump, Stomp, a podcast about games because we needed another. You can find the show notes for this episode as well as other content at runjumpstomp.com. This is episode 16 for the week of June 2nd, 2015. I'm Bill, your host, and this week we'll be talking about how Nintendo is working with Humble Bundle, let's say that 5 times fast. Bloodstained looks like it may be coming to the Wii U, and that game looks rad. Geometry Wars is on its way to iOS, and I can't decide if I want to buy it. Those stories, plus the long play, wishlisted, and more on this episode of Run, Jump, Stomp. Thanks for listening. If you've never bought something from Humble Bundle, you're missing out. Humble Bundle is a website which deals with, developers or game producers or people who sell games. And they put the games together from a producer not a producer, but a developer. They put lots of games from a developer usually together, and they sell them as a package. And the package is usually pay what you want, and if you pay a certain threshold, you'll get some bonus games. And if you pay more than the average, then you'll get these other bonus games. And sometimes, after you've paid, they even add to the pile. So, let's say that I buy a bundle, and then 3 weeks later, they decided to add another game to the bundle. I get that game too. Now, it's pretty cool because, first off, you get these bundles really, really cheap. But another reason that it's cool is because the money gets split 3 ways. It gets split, some of it goes to Humble Bundle, which, of course, they're providing the service and they have a website and they're doing good things over there. Some of the money goes to the developers, and some of the money goes to a charity, whatever charity that Humble Bundle and the developer had agreed upon. And then the person who buys the bundle gets to decide, I want this much money to go to Humble Bundle, this much to go to the developer, and this much to go to a charity. It's a really good deal for everybody involved. I have 225 games in my Steam library. The reason I have so many games in my Steam library is because Humble Bundles will often put a bunch of games together, and they will bundle them together cheap, and cheap enough to where I'm paying less than $1 a game sometimes, and the money's going to a charity. It's really great. And the thing is, the sooner that you get in on it, the better for you, because that's when the average is lowest. So usually when I see an email from Humble Bundle in my Gmail account, that gets flagged as a priority, and I look at it real quick to see if there's anything in there I want. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. And if there is something in there that I want, I usually go and ask the money boss, hey honey, you care if I spend $10? And she says, go for it. So I spend $10, and I usually get like 6 or 7 games. The reason I bring all this up is because for the first time, Nintendo has worked with Humble Bundle to bring eShop games to Humble Bundle. They called it the Humble Nindy Bundle, which is a terrible name. That being said, you get some pretty cool games. You get SteamWorld Dig for the Wii U and the 3DS. I have both systems, so that's great for me. You get Ollie Ollie, which is a skateboarding game, a skateboarding endless runner where you got to perform tricks. It's pretty cool. You get that for the Wii U and 3DS. What were some of the other games that I got? I can't remember the name of it. It was something Wayne. Let me actually go and check it out. All right, so Not Wayne. What is the name of it? Oh, it's not even listed here. Oh, there it is. Whoa, Dave. I don't know why I thought Wayne. But there's a game called Whoa, Dave. You also get Guacamelee, Super Turbo Championship Edition for the Wii U, Switch Force for the 3DS, Stealth 2 for the Wii U, The Fall for the Wii U, and Moon Chronicles Episode 1 for the 3DS. And it also says more games coming soon. When those games unlock, I'm also going to get those. Oh, and if I didn't mention it, SteamWorld Dig for both the Wii U and the 3DS. Now, I spent $10, and I got all those games. Usually, I think Guacamelee by itself is usually probably $10 on the eShop, so I'm getting a really, really good deal. And this money's going to charity. Now, you've got, at the time I'm recording this, you've got 12 days left. When this episode comes out, let me bring up my calendar. When this 1, 2, 3, 4. So when this episode comes out, you'll have 6 days left to get the bundle. Unfortunately, that means that the average is going to keep going up. So if you didn't see my post about this on the website, then you're going to probably have to pay more to get those. But the games are good. And I've been told that Guacamelee is one of the best Metroidvania games. Now, I already have it on Steam. I got it through a Humble Bundle, hilariously enough. But I'd really like to play it on my big TV with my son. So there's the advantage there. So the Humble Indie Bundle, which makes me sound dumb. I don't mind sounding dumb because the money goes to charity. So head out there and pick it up at humblebundle.com and start supporting charity and getting cheap games. Right now, as of 4:44 p.m. on May 27th, you got to pay $9.25 to unlock The Fall, Ollie Ollie for Wii U and 3DS, and Moon Chronicles for 3DS. That number is going to go up, though. Koji Igarashi, hopefully I didn't butcher that name too much, is famous for making 14 Castlevania games. Most people look upon the Castlevania series with fondness. I'm a fan of the Castlevania series. Two of my favorites were, of course, the original one, and then the one on the original Nintendo DS, which I think was called Castlevania Dark Shadows, although I'm not positive about that. It was a really, really good platforming Metroidvania style of game. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is another Metroidvania style side-scrolling action adventure game, and the reason that I'm talking about it is because it was funded on Kickstarter. This Igarashi has decided to go with crowdfunding to raise money for his next game, and it was funded on Kickstarter. The next stretch goal, they're currently at $275,000 roughly, and the next stretch goal is $3 million, which will bring the game to the Wii U. Now, I probably won't buy it on the Wii U. The game is named Bloodstained, so it's probably not going to be family friendly, and I don't want it on my Wii U for where my son probably will try and play it, even though one thing I do like about the Wii U is when they have to if they try and open a game that's inappropriate for that age bracket, because I put his age in, it asks for a password. That's good. That's good. I like that. I think that's a great feature. Where I'd probably end up buying it is on Steam. Steam is where I have most of my games, as you probably heard in the last segment. That's where a lot of my games live. Also in November, when the Steam Link comes out at $50, little box that I can hook up to my TV, then I can play it in the other room if I want. So I could have the best of both worlds. I can have it on my PC, and if I want to play it on my TV in the other room, that's a possibility too. So that's all good. A quote. The company that Igarashi said he would be working with is Armature Studios. They made Arkham, as well as some Metal Gear ports, and they posted on the Kickstarter, when we were approached with the opportunity to assist with Bloodstained on the Wii U, we were ecstatic. This style of game is one we are intimately familiar with from our work on Metroid Prime days. That's right. Armature Studios, I think the lead team started Retro Studios, which ended up working for Nintendo, and they made the Metroid Prime games, which is definitely a Metroidvania style game. It just happened to be in the third person or first person instead of a side scroller. Back to the quote. They said, we have extensive remastering experience. Our remastering projects include the Metal Gear Solid Collection for PS Vita, Injustice for PS Vita, and Borderlands, the pre-sequel for PS4 and Xbox One. We look forward to the challenge of making sure that the Wii U edition of the Bloodstained stands proudly with its brethren on Unreal Engine 4. That was from the Kickstarter site. So if you are a Wii owner and love Metroidvania-style games, then you need to send some of your money their way. And you can find a link to the Kickstarter in the show notes. If you never played Geometry Wars, it's a twin-stick shooter. Now, the original one was actually an accident. It came out for the Xbox on Project Gotham Racing 2, which is a confusing sentence. Basically, there was a game called Project Gotham Racing 2 for the original Xbox, and in the garage of this racing game, there was, I guess, a place where you could play Geometry Wars. Now, I never played the original Geometry Wars, but when the Xbox 360 came out, you could play Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. You could buy that from the Xbox Live Arcade. And it was a fantastic game. I played lots of it. Geometry Wars then continued to put out sequels, and now Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions basically changes the game a little bit. Geometry Wars and Geometry Wars 2 was a two-dimensional playing field where you would fly this little, I guess, horseshoe-shaped ship around, and there were lots of enemies on the screen. And you could control which direction you were moving with the left stick, and you could control the direction that you were shooting with the right. So you could move and shoot in different directions at the same time, and it was a top-down view. There were lots of enemies on the screen, and the enemies behaved differently based on what color and shape they were. The game was noted for its visuals, which had extremely bright colors on a very dark background, and it looked fantastic. The new one takes away the 2D playing field and wraps, or it doesn't take it away, but it wraps the two-dimensional playing field around different objects, so you can fly around a cylinder while you're playing. It looks really fantastic, and you can get it on Steam as well as the PS4. I'm not sure if you can get it on the Xbox One or not. Apparently, though, the reason I'm bringing it up is because the game is coming to the Apple App Store for iPhones and iPads. Now, my first... Well, let's take the good things first. The good thing is it's $5. You buy it, you own it, and there's no in-app purchases at all. The bad thing is that twin stick shooters have not traditionally worked very well on tablets or phones because you lack that tactile feedback that you get when using a controller. That, put together with the fact that your hands are covering up the screen, tends to make it difficult to play. So I'm on the fence with this game. I'm not sure if I want to try it out. I think it's great that they're doing a model where you buy the game for $5 and you're done. You don't have to do anything else. There are no in-app purchases. You have the whole game. But because there's no controller support on iOS, I can see where this game might look really nice, but I don't think it's going to play very well. Now, they said that they've taken this into consideration, and you can, I guess it shoots for you, and you move around, but that does not seem like nearly as much fun, just controlling the movement. I feel like I would want to control both the movement and which direction I'm shooting. Do you think that this game is a good idea for iOS? If you do, send me an email. Let me know at runjumpstomp@gmail.com, or you can send a message to me on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. I'm interested in hearing what other people think about this release. The Technomancer is a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk RPG. It was announced by the developers of the game Bound by Flame. Their name is Spiders. And they released some screenshots at their website. Now, the Technomancer claims that it will have skill trees and a dynamic conversation dialogue, as well as the world that changes in response to your decisions and the relationships you forge. This sounds like every RPG ever. The reason that I'm bringing it up is because I like the setting that they're showing. It apparently takes place on Mars, at the last refuge of humanity, and in the future. And the screenshots that they've posted at the website, which is the technomancer-game.com, I'll make sure to put a link in the show notes. Those screenshots look absolutely fantastic. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about this game. Now, apparently, it is going to be officially announced. Like, right now, they've got a soft announce, but then they'll do the official announce at E3 in a couple weeks. And it's going to be released for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC in 2016. As a fan of post-apocalyptic stuff, you know, if you listened last week, that I can't say that. This looks cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Although the screenshots, they don't seem like screenshots to me. They just seem like pre-renders. So we'll see what it looks like. And I'm not really the guy who has to have the greatest graphics, but a futuristic RPG that takes place on Mars that I can play on my PC, sign me up. A UK retailer called Game had a shipment of Splatoon Special Edition, which contains the boy squid amiibo, the girl squid amiibo, and then the inkling squid amiibo. Had their entire shipment of the Special Edition stuff swiped. Somebody stole it. And I suppose it's probably going to end up on eBay. The only way to get the Inkling Squid Amiibo is by buying the special edition. So expect that the price of those is going to carry quite a bit of money. According to the story that I found on Eurogamer, it says a lorry, which I think is a truck, carrying a stock of Splatoon and its various Amiibo figurines has been stolen. the Splatoon Special Edition, soon to be appearing at a CEX near you. I'm not sure what a CEX is. Maybe Commercial Exchange? The vehicle was en route to Nintendo's European headquarters, from Nintendo's European headquarters to Games UK warehouse when it was stolen. Because of this, the game has announced that due to these extraordinary circumstances, we will unfortunately not be getting replacements for these missing items. Then they said, we have no option but to substitute Splatoon plus Squid Inkling into your order with the standard version of the game. So what that means is you're going to get the standard version instead of the special edition. They said that they're going to throw in the Inkling Boy and Inkling Girl amiibo, and they'll be discounting the price by £10, which I think is like $12 if you're talking US stuff. There's nothing they can do. They were robbed, and now people don't have the stuff that they need. What need? That's not the word I meant to say. I meant to say want. People aren't getting the special edition that they want. That's not cool. On Steam right now, you can buy a game called Cat Lateral Damage. Now, I like a pun just as much as the next guy, but this is taking it too far. Apparently, this game is a first-person destructive cat simulator. So you play as a cooped-up house cat, and you run around your owner's house and basically wreck stuff. This sounds really funny, and I'm glad that I live in a world where a person can make a game like this. It was funded on Kickstarter, and I guess it made $20,000 more than I was asking. And now you can buy it for $9 on Steam. It's currently 10% off. So normally it's $10, so you get $1 off if you buy it right now. And it says it's a highly original experimental concept that was born out of a game jam. A game jam is basically a competition. I think it's a competition where a bunch of developers get together and they have X amount of time to put something together. And he said the developer said that it's based on his actual real life mischievous cat named Nippy. I keep saying his. I don't know if it's a man or a woman who is the developer of this. I just, as a sexist, I default to saying his. So sorry about that, lady developers out there. It seems hilarious, and if you want to know more about it, check out catlateraldamage.com. Today, Twitch, which is a game streaming network at twitch.tv, they updated their rules of conduct. Specifically in, not response to, in, I can't think of the word that I want to use. Specifically, they're updating a section about adult-oriented games. Now, when you play games here in the U.S., we have a rating system that is known as ESRB, the Electronic Software Rating Board. At least I'm fairly certain that that's what it stands for. Now, the ESRB has some ratings that they have given to games after they look at the games. Kind of like when you go to the movies and there is G, PG, PG-13, R, etc. Now, up until now, you've been able to Twitch. You've been able to stream whatever you want on Twitch. Today, they have clarified their stance, and their stance is that their goal at Twitch is to create a safe, welcoming, inclusive, and community platform where everyone can feel comfortable and have fun. So they're updating their rules. With regard to adult-only games. Simply put, adult-only games, which is the highest level on the ESRB, are not welcome on Twitch. And then they say, please refer to the ESRB rating guides and a list of adult-only games for more information. Now, some people are probably upset about this, and I can see their point, but sometimes my son watches Twitch. Now, I watch the channels before he's allowed to. I speak to the person who is behind the microphone or camera on Twitch before my son is allowed to. My son is 6, by the way. So I will go, if he says, I want to watch somebody play Minecraft. Okay, that's fine. I'll load up Twitch, and I will go to the Minecraft section, and and this doesn't happen with him in the room. Pardon me. Sorry about that. This doesn't happen with him in the room. But what then happens is I watch the stream for a little bit, and if there is a bunch of swearing or anything like that, I turn it off and I go find another one. And I continue to do that until I find one where I think, okay, this guy is behaving in a mature way. Or girl, sorry, ladies, don't mean to be sexist again. But this person, this streamer, is behaving in a mature way, a way that I would be okay with my son watching. Then I'll hop into their chat, and I will flat out ask them, is this a PG stream? And usually they will answer. And now, if I don't get an answer from them, that's not going to be one that my son can watch. It's on the parents to do this. However, there are a lot of kids who might not have parents around. Maybe their parents are at work when the kid is home from at school. I'm lucky. I'm at home from work at the same time that my son is home from school. There are a lot of parents out there who have to work. I'm sorry. They have to work when their kids are at home. And so they can't be the ones to say, hey, let me watch this stream and make sure that it's okay for you before you watch it. Now, adults only is, let's take a look at a list of adult only games. So a Fairy Tale of Two is one. It says, this is a visual novel adventure game where the players follow the story of a young couple discussing the events of their lives. The game includes, it cuts off there. Well, okay, I'm not going to read that because that seems not appropriate. But you get the idea. These games are showing things that I don't want to say on my podcast. So, is it up to Twitch to tell people that they can't say it or show it on their show? Does this mean that you don't own your show? Does Twitch own your show? Now, I don't think that that's what they're doing. I don't think that Twitch is saying that they own your show and you can't do what you want. They're saying, we're providing you with the technology. We would like you to keep it clean. Now, there are plenty of things that you can do and show in a mature rated game that you can't, or I'm sorry, there's things that you can do in an adults only game that you can't do in a mature game. But a mature game, I don't even think I've ever played an adults only game. There's simply not that many of them. And I like that the adult oriented games are being banned on Twitch. I'm okay with that. There are, however, going to be some people who are unhappy with this. And I think that there's a better solution. I think what you could do is, first off, give parents a little bit of control. On Twitch, make it so that you can set up an account for your child, and you have the real password, but they have a passcode so that they can get on Twitch. Then, let the parent set what level of content that that child is allowed to watch. And then give the streamers the ability to say, all right, well, my stream is streaming this content at this level. So, if I'm playing Minecraft and I'm not going to be running around swearing and shouting expletives all the time, then I could put my Twitch account, or not my Twitch account, but at that time that I'm streaming, I could say, this is E for everyone. And then later on, I decide, all right, well, I'm going to play Tomb Raider. Now, Tomb Raider is mature, so then I could say, well, let's switch that to mature. They could even automate it by hooking into the list of games from the ESRB, and if I choose a game, because whenever you stream on Twitch, you say, oh, this is the game that I'm streaming. That's how they group them up. So if I pick a game that is on the mature list, then it says, okay, anybody who clicks on this link can watch as long as they have given themselves as long as their parents have said, yes, it's okay that they watch mature content. Also, anybody who is not under the umbrella of their parents can obviously watch whatever they want. I think that would be a better solution. It would definitely be more work on the part of Twitch, but it would be really nice for me as a parent to know that when I look at a stream, oh, this stream is rated M. I know that it's not going to be okay for my son to watch, so that makes it a lot easier for me to find content that he wants to watch, because he doesn't want to watch what's on TV. He wants to watch Twitch. And right now, there is no quote-unquote Disney Channel of Twitch. When I was growing up, there was the Disney Channel. Or you could watch Saturday morning cartoons. And my parents knew that that was going to have appropriate content for my age. Today, kids don't watch TV. They're watching Twitch all the time, or YouTube. There needs to be a way for parents and streamers and kids to work together to solve this problem. Last week, I talked about the fact that WildStar, well, at the time it was a rumor, but WildStar had been found on SteamDB. It had been scraped off there, and it had also found that you could, it was in the same category as other buy-to-play games. Everybody then assumed that WildStar would be going free-to-play. Some dude who claimed to work at NCSoft was posting on the WildStar subreddit saying, yep, it's official. We are going to be, well, not official. Yes, we are going to be going free to play, but I won't disclose who I am. Okay, that's fine. Take that or leave it. That could have been anybody. But now, WildStar has officially announced that they are going free to play. That's on the 28th. They announced it. This is awesome. I'm very, very excited. Now, WildStar has said, This is going to be different than most other free-to-play games. A lot of free-to-play games, they say, all right, well, you can only explore this continent, or you can only do this content. In WildStar, they're saying, nope, everything in the game is available to everybody. I think starting in the fall is what they said when this is going to happen. Everything will be available to everybody, and the way that they're going to monetize is through XP boosts, convenience factors like that, cosmetic things, and they also said that everything that you can buy on their cash shop, you'll also be able to buy by saving up your gold for. So with let me give you an example. In Guild Wars 2, there's an unbreakable pickaxe that you can get. And you can go out into the world and use it as many times as you want, and the thing doesn't break. Now, the only way to buy that is with real money. And I'm okay with that. It's a convenience thing. There's not a big deal. WildStar is making it so that the things that you can buy on the Money Shop, you can also buy with in-game currency. I think that this is awesome and great, and I'm really happy that they're doing it. WildStar is a fantastic game that did not get a fair shake. And I think mostly, well, that's not, okay. I don't want to say that they didn't get a fair shake. I think a lot of people consider themselves to be hardcore, but they're not. I used to consider myself to be a quote-unquote hardcore gamer. I used to raid in Warcraft. I did 40-man raids, and then when we got out of 40-man raids, when Warcraft dropped 40-man raids and went to the smaller numbers, I did those too. I raided in Warcraft for years. Now, I wasn't a 6 nights a week kind of raider, but every week, on whatever day it was, my wife would bring my dinner into me in the office, and I would sit down and I would raid with my buddies. I would define that as hardcore. Not as hardcore as the everyday person, but that was quite a bit, you know? I was not hardcore enough for WildStar. The game is hard, and I want to make a line of demarcation here. There's a difference between a game being difficult but fair and a game and hardcore. Now, hardcore players put in lots and lots of time into whatever it is that they're playing. I can't do that. I'm too busy. However, I enjoy a challenge. Now, raiding in WildStar is not something I will ever be able to do. I think I'm past the point in my life where I have the time to devote hours upon hours to a game in a night. However, dungeons are another thing entirely. I love the challenge of dungeons. I think it's fantastic when everybody has to be at their top game. It makes the game really fun. And that's where WildStar shined. WildStar shined because their dungeons were intricate, the encounters were fantastic, and they could do that because of the wonderful telegraph system. And if you don't know anything about the telegraph system, I highly recommend that you go to YouTube and search for WildStar Telegraph. It makes the game incredibly fun. Now, the reason I stopped playing is because it was hard for me to get dungeon groups because there weren't enough people. If we're going to have a free-to-play WildStar, I shouldn't say if, now that we're going to have a free-to-play WildStar, that means that the population of the servers is going to go up. And if the population of the servers goes up, it's going to be much easier for someone like me who likes to run dungeons to get a group to run dungeons. I can't get... most people don't want to run dungeons over and over like that. Most people want to do something until they've got the loot out of there and then move on. That's not me. I could not care less about the loot in the game. If it makes my job easier, then fine. But I don't care about the loot. That's not why I do it. I do it for the challenge and the camaraderie of overcoming something. If there is a higher population, it makes it a lot easier for me to do that. And that, I think, is fantastic. So the news that WildStar is going free to play, and not the free to play like Lord of the Rings Online, where you have to buy a continent at a time, but free to play like Guild Wars 2, I think that this is fantastic news, and fans of WildStar should be really happy, and fans of MMOs should be really happy. My next question is, World of Warcraft lost 3 million subscribers in as many months. WildStar could not maintain the subscription model. is this the end of the subscription model? I know World of Warcraft is still out there, but I don't think that there's going to be another subscription model game ever made. I think everyone's going to go towards that buy-to-play model, like Guild Wars 2, and now WildStar has. That is everyone except for Warcraft. For $200, you can get the NVIDIA Shield. For $300, you can get the Shield Pro. It's available today, and it comes in those two versions. Now, the difference between the two is that the NVIDIA Shield comes with 16 gigabytes of onboard storage, and the Shield Pro comes with 500 gigabytes of onboard storage. The features of the NVIDIA Shield: it comes with a controller. Looks like an Xbox controller, although it looks a little more beefy, like it's going to be heavier. It doesn't look very comfortable, but I haven't held it in my hands, so if you have, let me know if it's comfortable or not. It comes with support for 4K, so you can stream stuff in 4K from Netflix. Currently, most people don't have bandwidth to support downloading things in 4K. But you know that this is future-proofed stuff here. You can play games on it, although they're games made for Android, I think. My question is, can you play it, the games from your Steam library? I know that you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can play over the Wi-Fi at your house. Let me load up Steam real quick and actually just open up my settings, because there's a in-home streaming. I know that the NVIDIA Shield, it's like a tablet, has the ability to use in-home streaming with Steam, which is very cool. If it has that ability, then there's lots of games that it can play. That means you can stream your Steam library to your TV in your living room. Admittedly, you can do the same thing with the Steam Link for $50, but this is also a set-top box, so you can watch Netflix, or I don't know if they have Amazon Prime on it or not, but you can watch Netflix on there, and it looks really cool. It's got a neat design, although my problem with it is that it's not flat. So that means you can't put it down and then put something on top of it. That's one of the biggest pet peeves I have with set-top boxes. Are set-top boxes with weird design so you can't set anything on top of it. That's irritating. It's like the people who design these things think this is the only thing that you're ever going to have. And I'm sure that kind of is the point. They want it to be the one thing that you have in your living room and you don't need anything else. That doesn't really interest me, because you can never find one solution that beats everything. Right now I've got a Wii U, an Xbox 360, a DVD, or not a DVD, a Blu-ray player, and an Apple TV all hooked up to my TV. And luckily, 3 of those 4 things have a flat top so I can stack them if I need to. My DVD player, or I keep saying DVD, my Blu-ray player does not have a flat top, so I can't stack things on top of it. Same thing with the NVIDIA Shield set-top box. You're not going to be able to stack things on top of it. Other features that it has is it has voice search, so you can push a button and talk into it, like say, what are the best apps? Now, are the games going to be worth playing? Most games that are going to be available for this thing are games that were made with a touch screen in mind. And the controller does not have a touch screen. So that's like playing games that are made for having buttons with an on-screen image of that button. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be great. Time will tell. There's a rumor that the NX, which is Nintendo's next console, is going to be running Android. This is based on a Japanese newspaper called Nikkei, and I actually got it from Forbes. But the idea is that Nintendo will be running the Android platform as the operating system of the NX, which is their next console. They announced the console. Well, they didn't really announce it. They pre-announced the console a couple of months back when they said that they were going to start making mobile games. And the reason that they announced the console at that time was because they wanted to, I guess satisfy is not the right word. Assure. They wanted to make assurances to their investors that they were not giving up on the console market. So, as like a peace offering when they went mobile, or when they said that they were going to start developing mobile games, they said, don't worry, we're also going to make this console as well, and they called it the NX, and then they said, you won't hear anything about it from us until 2016. That was from Satoru Iwata. Now, let's think about the advantages to having a Android console from Nintendo. Number one, Nintendo wants to move into the mobile space. Now, if they have a console that is running the same operating system as the phones and tablets that are already out there today, then they're done. It's easy. They've done that. No problem. As soon as they make a game for the NX or whatever the system is going to be called, which I think NX is a good name for the console, but they always have code names and then they move on from there to other things. For instance, the GameCube was the Dolphin, I think. Was it the Dolphin? I'm not sure. Another reason why they would want to do this is because the operating system is free. Now, most people think, when I say Android, most people would say, oh, well, that's the Google operating system. Well, that's not actually true. Android is actually an open source platform that Google decided to use for their stuff. So there's actually a version of Android called AOSP. That's Android Open Source Platform, I think. And Google decided, all right, well, we'll use the Android Open Source Platform. We'll give it our own little spin, and we'll put that on smartphones. Now, you can get the AOSP for lots of phones, and it would have none of the Google stuff on it. So don't think of this as a partnership between Google and Nintendo. Here are the disadvantages. Number one, if you are developing with a controller in mind, and my phone can run your software, but I can't play it, that might actually lead to confusion in the market. Now, Nintendo said to expect a big surprise when the NX came out. This is crazy, and if they do this, I think it would be a huge mistake. But what if their new system is a tablet with no buttons? That would be nuts. If they did this, I would not buy it, because you gotta have buttons for games. You need that tactile feedback. And unless they have solved that problem, which I don't think they have, then that's not going to work. So is Nintendo's next console going to be Android-based? I don't know. Somehow I doubt it. It wouldn't be the first time that a company has used another platform for an operating system. For instance, the Dreamcast ran Windows CE. Now, I don't know what CE stood for. Maybe Console Edition? But it ran Windows CE. That didn't work out too good for him, but that wasn't the fault of the Dreamcast. That was because Sony was doing such a good job pushing the PlayStation 2. So, what do you think? Do you think Nintendo should go with Android for their next operating system? Or should they continue to develop in-house? Honestly, I don't care which, as long as their next console has buttons. Now, the NVIDIA Shield has buttons, and I talked about that earlier in the show. I guess the question is, if Nintendo is going to make an Android-based console, will the games made by Nintendo run on the NVIDIA Shield? I think this is another reason why Nintendo's not going to want to do an Android console. Because I don't know if they can control it well enough to keep competitors from making an Android console that can run Nintendo's games. Nintendo is a hardware company. For every single console that they've made, with the exception of the Wii U, they've made all of their money on selling consoles, not on the software. I mean, yes, they also make money on the software, but they usually make money on selling the hardware as well. This was kind of leaked earlier in the week, but now it's official. Lego is putting out a game called Lego Worlds, and you can actually go out and buy it right now on Steam Early Access for, I think it's $17. Basically, this is a Minecraft competitor. Now, the thing about Minecraft is that it is very, very moddable. So my favorite version of Minecraft is not the Minecraft that you get when you buy it. It is a mod of Minecraft called Sky Factory 2, where you start out floating in the sky and you have to build everything, but all you get to start with is a tree and one dirt block. It's really, really fun. Is the Lego Worlds game going to give you that same experience? Now, I played Minecraft for quite a long time before I started playing it modded. In fact, I did not start playing it modded until recently. That's probably why it's my favorite, because it's new. So I really hope that Lego Worlds does this the right way and allows players to mod it, because that would be incredibly fun. Now, this game is currently for PC only, but I'm sure it will come to all the other platforms. My son plays Minecraft on my wife's MacBook, so he won't be able to play this game until it comes out on either that or a console. But I'll definitely be picking it up in the future when it comes out, because it looks interesting. And Minecraft is one of my favorite games of all time. Maybe this one could tear me away. Okay, so this episode is getting kind of long, and I'm going to start a new segment, which I've never done before, called the Grab Bag. Mostly because the episode's getting long, and I want to get a few more stories in that I found interesting this week. The first story is XCOM 2 has been announced by 2K Games. If you've played the first one, and you could have played it on a million different places, it was on the Xbox 360, the PC, the PS3. I think you could also play it on iOS and Android. So they're going to be putting out a sequel to that game. It is critically well reviewed, and it was a really fun game. I enjoyed it. I wasn't good at it, but I definitely enjoyed it. The next part of the grab bag is the Nintendo Micro Direct. The parts where the dude was little, and if you haven't watched it, go to the website, you can check it out. But the parts where they had the dude was shrunk down and they raised his voice up really high, that was terrible. Never do that again, Nintendo. But the stuff that they showed was pretty interesting. They had quite a few things. There was they showed more information about the Animal Crossing new 3DS game, which has the amiibo card support. I don't really care about the amiibo card support for that game. I don't really care about that game. I like Animal Crossing, but this one doesn't seem like it's going to be a fun version. I'm more interested in what Nintendo can do with the amiibo cards on other platforms. Maybe a baseball game where you could actually collect baseball cards and then use the cards in the game. That would be awesome. Did you know Nintendo owns a baseball team? I forget who it is because, sports ball. The last piece of information that I want to make sure that I get into the grab bag is DLC for Splatoon is coming out on today, which I'm recording this on Monday. The DLC includes a new map, which looks like there's a bunch of crates, so it looks like there's lots of corners where you can hide behind stuff. Lots of the Splatoon maps that I've played on so far have had lots of curves, not a lot of sharp corners. So that's an interesting change. And they even said that you're going to have to change the way that you play. It also includes a gun, and the gun for the DLC is modeled after the NES Zapper. And if you are of age to remember the NES Zapper, you probably remember that sound of pulling that trigger fondly. This week on the long play, I want to talk about Splatoon. I picked up Splatoon the day it came out. I didn't really get a chance to play it over too much over the weekend, but then yesterday night I sat down and played it for a little bit, and man, that game is good. The first thing I did is I jumped right into multiplayer, and at first I was filled with dread. I was like, oh man, it was a mistake for me to buy this game. I shouldn't have bought it. I got out of multiplayer, and I decided I'm going to go ahead and check out the single player and see what that's like. My problem with the multiplayer was the controls. In the game, you start with the option. Well, they don't tell you that it's an option, but they start you off with you can control the movement with the left stick. You can look left and right with the right stick, and then you look up and down by tilting the controller back and forth. Now, in multiplayer, it was just too fast for me. Mostly because I hadn't played it much. And that led to me being dead most of the time, so I was not enjoying the game. I decided to try out single player, and they ease you into it a little bit better. And because they ease you into it a little bit better, you have more time to acclimate and get used to the controls. Now, I know that I can turn them off, but a lot of people were saying that this is a really good control scheme, and I wanted to give it a chance. So I gave it a chance, and I played through about half of the campaign. At least I think it's half. On the campaign, there's a map, and you could see the different places, and I went through 3 of the 5 places that are on the map. Now, I don't know if there's another map after that, but I had a lot of fun. The puzzles were really great, and this game feels like... I almost think that this game started out as a Super Mario Sunshine sequel of sorts, and they decided to yank all the Mario stuff out of it and invent a new IP for it. Well, it's really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. So that's the long play for this week, Splatoon. If you have a Wii U, definitely pick it up. The single player is good, and the multiplayer will be fun once I'm good at the game. So that's my recommendation for Splatoon. Well, that's it for the show this week. If you want to find the show notes, you can go to runjumpstomp.com. Now, if you want to be part of the show, you can always get a hold of me at runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can call the show and leave a message at 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And you can also find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at runjumpstomp. Next week, I think that I'm going to be, well, depending on the news, but I'm going to try and go into more depth with my review of Splatoon, as well as the games that I downloaded from the Humble Nintendo bundle. I forget what it, Humble Nindy bundle earlier on. As always, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.